Ladies and gentlemen, from the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, Nevada, live on the Zone, it's now time for a special flyweight title attraction. Set to make his ring walk, please welcome the Argentinian challenger, El Avión, Agustin Gauto.
El Avión, which means the airplane, Sergio, but you didn't need me to tell you that.
No, I did not, but I'm wondering why. I mean, does he fly like that? Does he fly like a plane? I don't get it, but El Avión works for me.
Well, he's won 4 consecutive fights, Clarissa, 3 by knockout. What do you expect to see from him as he takes on the toughest test of his career?
Who's the toughest test?
What's that?
Which one you talking about?
Galal Yafai. It's going to be his toughest test ever for Gauto.
Man, you know what? When you're doing those step-up fights, man, you just got to go in there and just, one, stick to the game plan. Stick to the game plan and let your hands go and see what you can and what you can't do. You have to figure it out round by round. I've seen, I don't know if I said his name right, Yafai. I've seen him fight a few times.
Yes.
He's very sharp, slick, and he changes up his style every few rounds, so you don't know which guy you're getting.
And now entering the arena, please welcome the undefeated defending champion from Birmingham, England, Galal Yafai.
Galal Yafai. Chris, is he the goods? That's what everyone wants to know. He looks the part. He's got the gold medal. He's got the smile, but can he win a pro title?
You know, I just am not sure yet. I've seen a lot of good things from Galal Yafai. I love the pressure that he brings to his opponents every single night. He obviously has the pedigree, but he does get hit a considerable amount for a guy fighting in this weight class. So he's going to have an aggressive fighter in front of him tonight. I'm very interested to see how he responds.
Yeah, you know what? He reminds me, Galal Yafai reminds me of another fighter with Yemen parents. That's a great Nassim Ahmed. You know, he was awkward, but Ahmed had power. You know, he was allowed to get hit. You know, he had that unorthodox style from the southpaw stance. We got another southpaw here that can fight unorthodox in Yafai, but he doesn't have the chin or the power of Nassim Ahmed, but he does have the footwork, the angles, and everything else.
David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, live on the Zone, we are set to go with our next bout of the evening, and it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Bet Online, Stagefront, Everlast, and Riyadh Season. This bout is sanctioned under the auspices of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dallas Hahn, the executive director is Jeff Mullen, and the World Boxing Council. The president, Mauricio Suleiman, the supervisor is Michael George. Introducing your 3 judges scoring this contest from ringside. From Nevada, Tim Cheatham. From California, Max DeLuca. And also from Nevada, Lisa Jampa. And at the side of the belt, your third man in the ring, referee Raul Caiz Jr. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing scheduled for the WBC International Flyweight Championship. Introducing first, the challenger. He fights out of the red corner. He wears white with red trim. Official weight 111.2 pounds. His professional record 21 victories, only 1 defeat, with 15 of his 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando el orgullo de Lanús, Buenos Aires, Argentina. Damas and caballeros, here is the former WBO International Light Flyweight Champion, El Avión, Agustin Gauto. And his opponent across the ring fighting out of the blue corner. He is the defending champion. He wears gold with black trim. This southpaw scale 111.6 pounds. His professional record, perfect. 6 fights, 6 victories, with 4 of his 6 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of the West Midlands, Birmingham in the United Kingdom, here is the 2020 Olympic gold medalist and the reigning, defending, and undefeated WBC International Flyweight Champion, Galal Yafai. Yafai.
All right, gentlemen, receive the instructions in the dressing room. Know what I expect. Good, clean fight. Ya recibieron las instrucciones que una pelea limpia. Digo punches, golpes legales, here for you. Digo punches, here for you. Touch gloves, good to both of you. Buenas usted los dos.
Galal Yafai, the younger brother of former WBA super flyweight champion Khaled Yafai, former Commonwealth super bantamweight king Galal Yafai, born from Yemeni parents. That is a great boxing family for sure. But tonight, Yafai will have to face this man, Agustin Gauto, who believes he has what it takes to dethrone the Olympic gold medalist.
Box.
Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, Todd Grisham, Caressa Shields, Sergio Mora, and Chris Mannix here ringside.
Gauto comes off fast, quick hands. You can see the combinations right there. He's gonna, Yafai's gonna have to deal some quick hands, quick combinations, but there is opportunity, especially with that left hook for Yafai, especially if Gauto gets over-aggressive, or too over-aggressive.
Yeah, I want to see what the punch resistance is like for Gauto. When he was stopped a few fights ago, he was stopped at light flyweight, so now here he is up at flyweight. A little bit different level of puncher here.
Yeah, Yafai looks bigger in there, doesn't he, Sergio?
Yes, he does. The shoulders are wider. He filled out the muscle a little bit more.
Watch your hits. Cuidado con las cabezas.
Box.
You know, it's interesting. I was asking Galal Yafai what he thought of his last fight against Rocco Santamori. He said he thought it was fine, but he thought that the three of us maybe didn't think it was quite that great. He's obviously got a little bit of rabbit ears about what people are saying about him, because there is pressure on Galal Yafai. When you come into pro boxing and you're fighting 10-rounders right away, there are expectations, and it's pretty clear from talking to him that he does feel some of those expectations.
Well, he's feeling some of these punches.
Yes, he is.
As Gauto's sitting down on everything.
And the reason is not only because he has that earmuffed defense Yafai has, but he keeps his head in the same line of fire. He doesn't move. He's always down the pipe with the right hand. See, look, the head doesn't stay still. Even though the punches are coming from everywhere, the head doesn't move. So a puncher could just catch and counter with something looping, and Yafai's head's gonna be right there. There it is, see?
Downstairs and then back upstairs for Gauto.
And Gauto has pop, especially in that left hand.
He's coming off a third-round knockout over Ernesto Martinez. That was just 85 days ago, so quick turnaround for Gauto.
Yeah, he says this is a dream come true for him. He had the best camp ever. He had his whole team. You know, he fired his old team, and now he has new trainer, new camp, prepares differently, very confident and prepared for this fight.
Oh, straight down Route 1. A left hand splits the guard, and the Argentinian may be ready to go here in round 1.
Right on the button. He had his hands up, but it penetrated the guard of Gauto right there. And that's the problem with that earmuff defense.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's landing a good amount of punches, but he's feeling everything that Yafai is throwing back at him.
Clarissa, what do you think of the earmuff defense? You a fan?
No, I'm really a fan, like just the head movement and keeping the hands like on a chin. But these guys are punching at each other hard, and this is first round. My goodness.
10 seconds, 10 segundos para la campana. Stop at the bell.
Gauto started hot, but Yafai probably won the round.
Stop loading up with the left hook. Stop loading up. You're not landed one. Straight shot's the shot that caught him. You're in with a straight shot down the middle. Listen to me. Straight shots down the middle. Don't load up that.
I must have got him mixed up with like his brothers.
I need you to throw the straight shots a little bit more. Straight 1-2 down the middle. Jab, jab, backhand, all right? Okay, get around him. But don't sit there looking for a big left hook, because he'll catch you back, all right? You've hurt him, but he's going to be swinging back every time you punch. So a little feint, a little movement, straight down the middle and short hooks, okay? Don't go wide enough. Are you listening? Yeah. Composure. You hit him and you start trying.
Clean punches right down the pipe. 1-2, simple 1-2 from that left-handed stance. caught Gauto right on the chin. You see the knees buckle right there. Anytime you have the guard up like that, you think you're protected, but not by a sniper and a puncher like Yafai, who's so polished with his punches.
Yeah, and Rob McCracken in the corner between rounds effectively asked for the exact same thing. 1-2 right down the middle. That shot's there.
There it is again.
Stop! No, don't push. Don't push his head. No knockdown.
Ro Kaez Jr., our referee in charge. We saw him with an expert display of refereeing last time we were here in Las Vegas at the Cosmo, the Floyd Schofield fight, Kid Austin, who won by disqualification. Handled that really well.
Gauto's bound to get dropped by that left hand again. He's not moving his head, and his face, his chin is right in the line of fire of that straight left hand. There it is right there. He's not going to move. He's a sucker for it.
It's a Jonas Brothers song, Sergio.
You listen to Jonas Brothers?
I have 3 daughters under the age of 12. I've got posters on my wall. What are you talking about?
Clarissa, Jonas Brothers?
Justin Bieber.
I'm more of a fog hat guy.
I think you're right, Sergio. I don't know that Gauto has the skills, maybe, or the temperament to get out of the way of those punches.
He has the skill. He was just taught. He was taught wrong. You know, he just stays right in front of his opponent with his hands up, thinking he's safe. He's not safe with an elite puncher. With a polished and crisp puncher like Yafai.
Well, he's got Marcos Maidana in his corner. What should he be telling him?
Yeah, Maidana had big power, and he took a big punch. That's not the case. That's not the case of Agustin Gauto.
Looks like Yafai is just too strong for him, for Gauto.
Trying to paw him away with the jab to set up the left.
I love those angles. That's the thing about these fighters, man. With such Olympic pedigree and Olympians, the footwork is just brilliant. You know, they catch that angle, and if they have that advantage of being a southpaw, they exit to their right. Opponents don't know where they went.
No pushing, Galal, no pushing.
And much like Kyle Nicholson in our last fight, Yafai just looks so composed, doesn't he?
I mean, look at that. 4-punch combination. It was 2 hooks and 2 uppercuts. It's very difficult combination to throw. It takes a lot of athleticism. Yafai makes it look easy. Body shot by Gauto finally there.
Gauto still trying to find a way in. He had some success early in round 1, but since then, the left hand has been the damaging shot for Galal Yafai. The straight left hand right up the pipe.
10 seconds, stop at the bell, 10 segundos. Stop. It's your birthday. 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 It's your birthday.
Escuchame, te está poniendo la mano adelante, limpiala ahí. Te está poniendo la mano adelante. Sacásela y tirale. Hacete más chico. Y entrale abajo. Y cuando te agarra o te tira para abajo, o te tira para abajo, vos tirás golpe igual. Y no esquivé nada más. Igual pegá. Metete una vez que te metés, tratá de meterte abajo, chico. Es más largo, tiene los un poquito más largo. Y tirá las manos que tuvimos laburando, boludo. Vamos, metele esa presión, metele presión. Y cuando si te vas, te vas. Si atacás, atacás. Pero si no salís de la situación, puede ser que te pegue. ¿Está? ¿Listo? ¿Entendiste? Dale, metele.
This is agility at its finest right there. That's a difficult combination right there. Straight 1-2, and then popping them, and then coming under the guard with uppercuts, all while shifting his lower body. Just brilliant footwork. It's lovely to see up close by Galal Yafai.
Clarissa, you don't think this is going to last much longer, do you?
No, I don't think it goes no more than 5-6 rounds. Looks like Gauto's taking a whole lot of punishment, and he's just not gonna move his head. And just like earlier, look like it's 2 different guys in 2 different weight classes. Like Yafai is like extremely bigger than Gauto to me. Is it just me?
Well, Yafai has done nothing but scheduled 10-round fights as a pro. You don't hear about that very often. He completed the 10-round distance in just his 3rd pro fight against Gohan Rodriguez Garcia, and in his most recent bout against Rocco Santomaro. But he wants a knockout tonight, and you think he's going to get it He sure is touching El Avion.
If he doesn't get the knockout, you know what I'm going to blame it on, right, Chris?
What's that?
The white gloves. It seems like everyone's wearing white gloves.
What's wrong with white gloves?
I already said it. They're conspicuous, easy to see.
Stop! Break! Box!
It's a dark room in here, right? Everything in the background is dark. The only thing you see is the white gloves in front of the face. So when you're seeing your opponent in front of you, the gloves just pop out.
Well, he's seeing those white gloves because they're hitting him in the face, Sergio. They're hitting him right in the eyeballs. Right there. Uppercut with the right, followed up with the straight left. Everything smelling like roses for Galal Yafai. Everyone dreams of fighting in Las Vegas. Yafai making the most of his moment in the spotlight here. The Mecca of boxing.
Yeah, these UK fighters definitely soaking it up here in Las Vegas, shining. Just like Sky Nicholson, now you see Galal Yafai, another Olympian, having fun in there. Pot shotting, shifting, moving, not getting hit, keeping his range, keeping his distance. It's power boxing, beautiful power boxing there by Yafai. See, without a jab, Gauto's not going to break that distance, and he's not going to get close to breaking that range, and that's going to favor Yafai. And the footwork, if you can't stop what's in front of you and you keep shifting like that, a jab's not going to, you're not going to slow him down without a jab.
Great three-punch combination there from Yafai. 2 upstairs, 1 to the body. Excellent work.
And Yafai may not get the knockout in the ring, but his corner's got to start asking questions here pretty soon. He's taking a lot of damage. Brooklyn, New York, USA, the host of Haney versus Garcia Saturday, April 20th, live on DAZN. Sergio, has your mind changed about this fight? What's going to happen over the past few weeks, considering the behavior of Ryan Garcia and the dedication we've seen from Haney in his training camp? You were with him yesterday.
No, even before the concerning tweets and the talk and everything going on in Ryan Garcia's personal life, I've always favored Devin Haney in this fight. I think he's a brilliant fighter, and I think he's gonna be able to outmatch. Ryan Garcia's gonna be outmatched in this fight.
That's certainly a popular opinion, but Ryan Garcia's power is real. The speed is real. He is going to be a dangerous fighter on April 20th.
That is for sure.
Buy it now on DAZN. April 20th, live from New York.
When you got speed, you got power, you always got a chance.
Box.
Well, does Gauto have speed and power?
Well, he has a little bit of power. I mean, 15 knockouts in 21 fights, but the speed, no.
He's going to the body. That's making some good noise, and that may have affected Yafai a little bit. Maybe just to get him more angry, but it did get his attention.
See, that's what I mean by Yafai. He is there to be hit with those looping shots. Gauto has the right idea. He's throwing the right punches. It's just like Larissa touched on. He's a shorter fighter, so he's having to punch up.
Gauto has some pop, though, when he's landing his shots.
15 knockouts in his 21 wins. He's only been beaten once. This was his moment to shine. But that light has been smothered by Galal Yafai.
This uppercut by Yafai.
Look at him pivoting on that right foot.
And then shifting away.
Oh boy.
It's remarkable how good Galal Yafai has become. This was someone that boxed, obviously, when he was really young, but gave it up for a number of years when he was younger because he wanted to play soccer. Really took it back up when he was 17 years old, which is a late start if you're getting into high-level boxing. But he has turned out to be a brilliant tactician.
And Sergio, you don't like soccer, which I find stunningly surprising considering you're from East LA.
Well, I never played soccer. I was always either boxing or roaming the streets.
Sometimes both. That left from Gauto just missed. But man, Yafai's not letting him breathe now.
You know what I do notice about boxers that were wrestlers and soccer players? Well, the soccer players have good footwork and the wrestlers are really strong. You know, so I think it benefits boxers to actually play soccer or have that as a hobby.
What other sports were you good at, Clarissa, growing up?
You know, I was kind of good at everything. I played basketball. I played soccer, baseball, softball, and I ran track. People don't know I ran track and cross country.
What was your event in track?
Oh, 400. I got it in 51 seconds.
Wow, flying. Body shot there from Gauto. Sergio, that may be his only game plan he should stick with now. Just hammer the body and hope for the best, right?
No, he's actually looping shots and landing on Yafai like that. See?
Stop.
Yep.
No punch.
Like
Look,
that.
Box.
that's the only criticism I have of Yafai. He gets hit with clean shots like that, and
Stop
by
at
a
the bell.
better,
10 segundos.
stronger
Stop la
puncher,
campana.
you know, it's not gonna be a good look the higher, you know, in class he gets. So he has to punch and dip and mind that defense, not fight so cool and collected and confident sometimes, you know, be leery.
We are headed to Puerto Rico, ladies and gentlemen. It's Matias versus Paro, making his second defense to the IBF Junior Welterweight title. Matias in San Juan in front of a raucous crowd, live on DAZN June 15th.
You want to talk about fights that can't miss? That fight can't miss. Two guys that come forward.
Porque tiene mucha cantidad de golpes este chico. ¿Se entiende? Tienes que responderle.
Good body shots, and we've been seeing, you know, the success with Gauto going down sets to the body, but it's the hooks and the straight left hand by Galal Yafai, and not giving an opportunity to Gauto to punch when he's coming forward because he's not smothering himself. Yafai, the only thing he is doing, he's pulling back and the chin is up in the air a little bit too much, but other than that, Yafai is looking good.
The doctor's going to take a look here.
I just want you to take a look at his eyes.
Raul Calles Jr. telling him he's taking a lot of shots.
Tienes que protegerte porque estás haciendo muchos golpes, okay? All right.
You're taking a lot of shots,
Protégete, okay?
and you got to protect yourself.
Protector. Mouthpiece. Time in. Box.
Well, that will certainly light a fire, or at least it should light a fire under Gauto, because he knows they're looking at stopping this fight, possibly considering the damage he has been taking.
No. Box.
I don't think we've quite reached that point where a stoppage is warranted. I mean, Galal Yafai is clearly dominating this fight, but Gauto hasn't been really hurt since that first round. And he's, to Sergio's point earlier, he's been letting his hands go.
Súbelo.
Right below the belt line, says the referee. There's a straight left hand that scores.
Oh, he's wobbly.
And Yafai just keeps moving the target around it. Gauto can't seem to find him. They'll call that a push.
No knockdown. Box.
Galal apologizes, and back at it we go.
Nice combination there by Yafai, doubling up that right hook.
Some good head moving by Gauto.
Oh, and right, just clipped the beard. And it got a smile out of Yafai, and nothing else.
You know what that means, though.
That caught the attention of Yafai. 1 inch closer, and I think that would have done more damage on Yafai right there. That was a clean punch, a looping shot.
That may have gave Gauto some confidence. You land a big shot like that. Well, it kind of nipped him.
Halfway through round number 5.
Oh,
Another left hand scores.
Oh, pushing again. Okay.
Yafai better be careful with that pushing. That's the second warning of Raul Calles Jr.
Don't do that again, Galal. Box.
So he's going to take a point next time he does it.
Oh, good body shot.
Hands are free. Pull your arm out of there, Galal.
Gauto still throwing bombs, hoping to land another overhand right. And those are the punches that Sergio says Yafai has been known to get hit with.
Yeah, he's vulnerable to those shots because he stays in the same place.
Gauto defense is picking up, and he landed a great body shot just a few seconds ago.
Another one there. Best round, perhaps, for the Argentinian.
10 seconds. Stop at the bell.
Oh, there's a right hand, scores again.
That rock Yafai. Yafai shook right now. Look at it. Flags on under him.
Oh. Don't get too comfortable.
Hey, let's check in with Chris Mannix. Who are you with, Chris?
Well, Todd, I'm with the newly minted 126-pound champion, Raymond Ford. Ray, what do you think of what you're seeing so far?
I think it's a good fight. It's a lot of action. I think Galal is looking good. I just want him to throw that left uppercut. I think he can get him out of there with that.
Surprised that Gauto made kind of a spirited recovery in that last round.
Yeah. He's a warrior. He's a tough fighter, and he's here for a reason.
So you're a month removed from winning your world title. Have you decided whether or not you're going to keep it, whether or not you're going to move up in weight?
I didn't decide yet. Right now, we just, waiting to see what's going to happen, and hopefully we get some news soon.
So we've heard you're not going to be part of the 5-on-5 in Saudi Arabia. Is that right?
Well, I don't know yet. We got to wait and see.
If it's at 126 or at 130, do you have a hit list out there? Who is at the top of your list?
All the world champions, Oshaki Foster, all the 130 world champions, whoever it is, I don't know.
Congratulations, Ray. Great fight, great performance last month.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Sergio, I was watching that fight in Puerto Rico. I just finished calling the Jake Paul fight down there. And, man, people were screaming at the TV when he came back in that last round and got the knockout.
Ray Ford had to fight through adversity against a tough, strong puncher. And that's what champions do, and he did it in the championship rounds. And, man, I'm telling you, Ray is built for tough. And look at earlier, this is the shot that I think rocked Yafai. Look at his legs, how they're going to buckle right here with that overhand looping shot. Legs buckled right there. They weren't under them. And at the end of the round, here's another shot right there. Those shots are not supposed to be landing on an elite boxer puncher, but they're landing on Yafai because he doesn't move his head like he should.
Watch it.
Accidental headbutt.
We have an accidental headbutt.
I think Yafai's cut too.
Yes, he is on the left side.
Accidental headbutt. We got a cut left eye. Blue corner. Box.
So accidental headbutt, but that's in a little bit of a vulnerable place. Should affect the vision of Yafai. Let's see if Gauto takes advantage.
It's probably just going to encourage Gauto to come forward.
Don't push.
Yeah, he's like a bull that sees that the red cape.
And here's another complaint I'm going to have about these white gloves, Chris Mannix. Once the blood starts flowing, he starts pawing at the eye, those white gloves are going to be full of red. Not going to be a good look, being a bloody mess.
I'd just like to point out that I am not pro white gloves.
Watch your back.
I'm not pro white gloves. You keep saying that like I'm a favorite of them.
Clarissa, you want to chime in on the white gloves here?
I've never heard that till today. It looks like he's still landing his punches fine with them being white as he's landing with them being red. I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's something silly that Sergio says, and we just kind of go along with it. But thank you for laying down the law.
Go along with it.
Yeah.
Huh? Can you see blood on red gloves?
Yes?
Yeah.
Not as easily
That's true.
as white gloves.
Well, what about white trunks? Should you not wear white trunks either? How about white tape, white shoes? Let's see if Yafai has weathered the storm and can pick up where he left off. There's Gauto with a couple of running punches.
Watch your heads, guys. Watch your heads. Here we go. Box.
The native of Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Good body shot by Gauto.
10 segundos. 10 seconds.
Sergio, are you sensing a shift in momentum, or is this just a momentary blip in the radar?
No, there's no shift in momentum, but this is just a typical Yafai fight. I mean, his brothers fought, Galal Yafai fought the same way. There's a vulnerability to them where they can be in charge, but at any minute it could change because they're vulnerable to big shots.
Have a drink. Have a drink.
Hey, Chris, I think we learned in the Tim Tszyu fight how important a good cut guy is.
Yeah, no question about that. And there you see the headbutt, just heads clashing as Galal Yafai ducked into the right. See Gauto there sliding in. Nothing intentional there from either fighter, but clearly Galal Yafai got the worst of that.
It's always the fighter who's winning the fight that gets the cut. It doesn't fail.
Boy, they didn't do a great job of stopping the blood out of that cut. But sometimes you just can't do it.
I don't think, Sergio, it's in a terrible place for a cut. It's a little bit offset on the side of his right eye.
No, it's not in a bad place, but it's a pretty sizable cut still.
Nice jab there on the inside from Yafai. Snapping little pop jab. But nice turnaround for Agustin Gauto, who looked, 2 rounds ago, the referee was having the doctor look at him, maybe stopping it, and he just landed a left hook. And Chris, this week, Galal Yafai was asked many times about Sonny Edwards, but then would bring him up on his own about possibly fighting him, if not next, very soon. What are you seeing from this performance that makes it more or less likely to happen?
Look, I think a Sonny Edwards fight is one of the biggest fights you can make in this weight class, especially over in the UK. And I know Matchroom is going to try to make that fight before the end of the year. But if I'm Sonny Edwards, I'm watching Galal Yafai. Yeah, I'm impressed with his offensive output, but I'm also seeing a guy that's hittable. I'm seeing a guy with weaknesses. That's a fight right now I'd favor Sonny Edwards in.
I'll tell you what, they should stay away from Martinez, though, Julio Cesar Martinez, because Martinez loads up on single shots like that, and he has the power to turn your lights off like that. So, yeah, Sonny Edwards is the right way to go, and it's an interesting matchup.
I don't know, Sergio. Julio Cesar Martinez is a big puncher, but he also gets hit a ton in his fight. So that would be a shootout at 112.
A shootout, an exciting one, yeah, but I'll favor Martinez in that one.
Blood continuing to pour out of the cut, caused by an accidental headbutt.
It is so crazy that Gauto still has that speed here in the 7th round. It's so sneaky, you don't even know when he's going to come with that fast hook or that fast right hand. That's what makes it sneaky. It's like sometimes Yafai is like falling asleep a little bit.
No, he pounces on opponents, and he has pretty quick feet. Quick hands and quick feet, Gauto does.
Gauto fighting the United States for the first time ever. It'll be memorable one way or another. Oh, big right again from Gauto.
And Todd, you asked Sergio moments ago whether there was a momentum shift or was this just a blip on Galal Yafai's way to win a lopsided decision. I think there has been a momentum shift over these last couple of rounds. I think Gauto is winning rounds at this point.
I agree, and it started since the cut.
Look at the bell.
You know, the cut changes things. Yafai, if he can keep him straight and use his footwork is elite. If he can step back and use straight punches and pop with that jab, he can make it easier on himself.
And the corner of Yafai really hasn't done a lot to close that cut. And I know it's difficult. It's in a tough place, and it looks like a reasonably deep cut. But every time Galal comes out of the corner the last couple of rounds, it's just looked like that cut has been waiting to bust open again.
Yokavaye obviously also suffered a bad cut in her recent bout against Sinisa Estrada, and they couldn't stop the bleeding coming out of that cut either. And a lot of criticism online. Stitch Duran basically saying these cut men have no idea what they're doing. Good body shot there.
Gauto keeps landing that left hand to the body, and Yafai keeps walking through him, so it's not affecting him.
It does look like Yafai punches have some of the steam is going out of him, not like he had before.
Have you been cut before, Clarissa?
Under the eye, never above.
Sergio?
I've been cut everywhere. And I'll tell you what, the cutmen couldn't stop my bleeding either. Sometimes they did. Sometimes they did an excellent job, and once in a while, the blood couldn't stop. You know, as soon as I went out there and I started pawing at it, he starts bleeding again.
Well, it certainly changed the dynamic of this fight, as Yafai is having his hands full with this Argentinian, Agustin Gauto.
Okay, good left hand.
Well, Gauto told us that he was ready for this fight and aggression was going to be his key. He wanted to slow down the pace and the rhythm of Yafai, and I think he's done just that, winning some rounds and getting the respect of the Olympian.
Big left hit for Gauto, and then followed it up with a right. But to his credit, Galal Yafai handled it pretty well.
Yeah, I think Galal Yafai senses something right now.
Well, yeah, Gauto's taking a lot of shots.
Yes, he is.
And you see Raul Calles Jr. just eyeballing Gauto very closely at this point.
And you see a
Gauto has
you see a fight pawing him forward. Come inside.
I thought he was pawing the ref away, like, don't come over here.
That too. Don't stop this fight. I'll tell you what, Gauto is dogging him.
Yeah, but he's getting beat out of him right now by Yafai. He's chasing him around the ring, and that is it. Galal Yafai gets a very hard-earned knockout win, and he wants to hear what Chris Mannix thought. And Chris gives him a thumbs up. Clarissa, what grade would you give Galal Yafai?
I mean, I'm one of those fighters where it's like, look, you win, you get the win, and that's what you go home with, and you watch the tape. But I mean, he did everything well except move his head and not get caught with those shots. So I'll give him, B.
Solid B. He just gets hit too solid for my liking. On the elite level with bigger punchers, he can't be getting hit like that. But he controlled his fight. He showed courage. He showed heart. He came over to Chris Mannix and said, "How you like me now?" Basically, but when he sees this, he's going to see that it was a more difficult fight than he thought.
Well, Chris, Clarissa gave him a B, Sergio gave him a B, but what would you give Galal Yafai?
I give him a B. It was a good performance. I mean, he had a chance early on to get a stoppage. I thought he could have stepped on the gas a little bit more, but then took the cut, recovered, and gets a big knockout win. So, solid performance from Galal Yafai.
And he had to overcome adversity. That cut was nasty. They couldn't get it to stop Sergio. So,
and you want to see that from fighters. You want to see how they're going to react. And he passed the test. A little bit too brave, though. So that's the thing about fighters like this. They have a lot of heart, but they got to check that heart and box smart.
Well, if you like the little guys fighting, we've got two of the best in the world going toe-to-toe in a summer shootout. El Gallo versus Bam Rodriguez. Old school versus new school. Sergio, I cannot wait for that one.
And I'm talking about boxing smart. It doesn't get better than Estrada and Bam Rodriguez. Both these guys have just a brilliant IQ. Bam with the footwork, Estrada with the combinations. I mean, it's a clash of beautiful styles. I can't wait.
Well, here's a look at the stoppage, and credit to Yafai. He sensed the end was near, and he just wouldn't let him run away from it.
No, he wanted this knockout, and he got it. It was a good stoppage. The thing about Gauto, he wasn't going to go anywhere, and Yafai wasn't going to drop him. He was just getting peppered, backed up. The body language was gone. The feet, the footwork, the legs, they weren't there anymore. So it was a good stoppage by Calles Jr.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the ref stepped in just in time to save him because he wasn't going to lay down, but I don't think he had too much more left to take in that fight.
And Sergio, we don't spend a lot of time saying how good referees are, but Raul Calles Jr. is quickly becoming one of the, if not the best referees in the sport.
And we saw him in the elevator and told him in person, and that's exactly what we're seeing tonight.
David Diamante makes it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Raul Calles Jr. calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 2 minutes, 40 seconds of round number 8. Declaring your winner by TKO. He's still undefeated and still the WBC International Flyweight Champion, Galal Yafai.
So Galal Yafai, another win and another knockout. Sergio, do you think he's ready for Sonny right now?
Yeah, for Sonny Edwards, I believe he is, because Sonny's not a big puncher himself. You know, he relies on footwork and speed and agility, and he's a jabber. So yeah, I think he's ready for a championship caliber fighter like Edwards.
All right, Chris Mannix standing by with our winner. This should be good, Chris.
Galal, congratulations. You're already talking before I gave the microphone to you. You had something to say to me there right after you picked up that knockout. What was it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to give me a bit of criticism, telling me how bad my defense was. Come on, let's hear it.
No, I thought you were excellent offensively. He did land some punches during the course of that fight. What grade would you give that performance?
It wasn't great. You know what? Probably a C, something like that. It weren't great. You know, I compare myself to the top boys, and he caught me with a few shots. I got probably a bit too comfortable sometimes. But he can punch, man. He's 21-1, 15 knockouts, so I just got to keep improving.
Yeah, did you think after that first round he was going to go? You had him hurt very early in that first round. It looked like he might get an early stoppage.
Yeah, you know what? I get too excited. That can probably be my downfall in the future. Hopefully it's not, but yeah, sometimes I got to be careful what's coming back. But I know he's a strong guy. But I'm glad it was over. But it was a bit of a struggle with his cut, but he's what he is.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how much did that cut change things for you and maybe accelerate things a little bit?
I probably tried to go a bit defensive after that, but the bad person inside me tried to kill him. But my coach Rob's telling me all the time I need to watch defensively. But he's what he is.
You're chasing a world title shot, but you're also looking at Sonny Edwards. That's a fight that Matchroom wants to make probably sooner rather than later. Do you feel like that should be your next fight after that? Where do you put that fight?
Yeah, definitely it could be. Where's Eddie? I know Eddie's trying to get Sonny Edwards in the name. I don't want to shout too many people's names. But yeah, if that's a fight that people want and Eddie wants, then they can offer me a good chunk of money. Maybe we'll have a look at that fight if he wants it.
Congratulations, Galal.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone.
Guys.
Great personality on Galal Yafai. Wish him nothing but the best, especially when it comes to that cut healing up quickly as we look at some of his handiwork, Sergio.
And I like to hear that he wasn't really impressed with his performance. You know, it was self-aware. He gave himself a C. But I'll tell you what, he got an A with courage and the fact that he was pushing the fight, looking for the knockout, and that's always exciting. But, you know, like I said earlier, fighters like these with so much talent, Galal Yafai has so much ability. Use it, you know, so right there, look, shots like that, you can't be getting hit with looping shots like that. The footwork's there, but the upper body movement's right there. But I like the punch selection. The combinations were flowing. He was in control of most of the fight. And even when Gauto was landing some shots and trying to steal some rounds, you know, he came back and did what he had to do. So, like I said, a lot of heart, a lot of ability, but a lot of work to do.
Well, Chris, you got to speak to the winner. You guys are coming best little buddies, aren't you?
I love it. I said at the top of the show, it felt like Galal had heard a lot of things that were said about him, and obviously he heard some of the criticism about his defense at this point. I still think that defense needs a little bit of work, but he is a dynamic offensive fighter, and I would love to see Galal Yafai in with Sonny Edwards. And like you, Todd, I love the personality. Like, Galal's always been a quiet guy. Come at me every single time you have a fight like that.
Let's see how